But the thing that worked the most for me, and this is something which I wrote in my review as well, is that I missed to see the larger than life presentation of Mr. Bachchan on the screen.
Yeah.
I watched the 7 a.m. show with my father, and both of us were cheering for Mr. Bachchan over there.
Yeah.
How did that idea come to your mind to present Mr. Bachchan in this way?
I mean, we all remember Mr. Bachchan as the quintessential action hero for sure, but I think it was also the fact that he was the first choice for Ashwadama.
Yeah.
And Ashwadama was the warrior. He was the son of the most powerful weapons teacher in the Mahabharata, so he had to be a intense and a fierce warrior. So it just came together.
But how did he react? Do you remember the first meeting? How did he react when you told him this world and this character?
He was. I had some concept arts with me because I knew so much of Ashwadama's character is not dialogue as compared to what you'd expect from Mr. Bachchan, and the great voice that he has. It's not dialogue. It's either action or it's the waiting, it's the emotion, and so. He was curious to begin with. He really went through the concept arts. He was very fascinated about how we're going to pull off this 8 feet difference character and all of that. So we had a few meetings to and fro, and finally I think he just decided to trust me.
And it's difficult for you to pick this, but for me there are multiple favorite scenes in the film. But as a director, which is your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, I think, definitely the way it came together in edit. I would say the climax portion is definitely a favorite. Like how the edit and the music came together, the VFX. The interval was also fun. The interval also came together really well. I always loved that sequence of Deepika's as she walked out of that tunnel. I remember, and we shot that so fast, but I remember telling Deepika I think this is going to be one of those iconic moments that people will keep as wallpapers. We're just rushing through this, but this will be something special.
Right. And I think that has, and in fact people are drawing so many references of this sequence and the Padmavat sequence, which both are iconic in their own sense.
We realized that later that there was also a fire thing. There's a connect from before, but we didn't realize that at that point, but
And now over the last few years, especially in the post Bahubali era, Prabhas has played the larger than life heroic character, and over here you have gotten a sense of naughty side to him. There's so much comedy and goofy. Was that a conscious effort on your side to present Prabhas in this way? What was the thought behind that?
It was. I mean, I genuinely think Prabhas has a very interesting sense of humor and body language, which we don't have to see him as a macho man all the time, always bending iron rods or hitting people or blood and gore. I just thought he can be a warrior, he can be a great fighter and still be real. I really enjoy Prabhas being real. Maybe in one movie of his in the past, it was sort of like that. That was always my reference point. And then once I met him and spent more time with him, I realized this is what I'd like to see him like. And Bhairava was always like that.
Okay. But is Bhairava a mixture of Prabhas in real life and the character you thought, or what's it?
Bhairava was always written to be a bit goofy and funny. Definitely Prabhas added a few things to it which made it more real.
A lot of guts for a superstar of Prabhas's caliber to take a backseat in certain sequences and let others shine. What were the sorts of discussion that you had with Prabhas? Because there are so many scenes where Deepika is at the forefront. There are so many scenes where Amit ji is at the forefront. So what were the discussions like with him?
I don't think we had those kind of discussions. I think it as a star of his stature, I think Prabhas has very little issues about things like this, about he's fully for the story, and I think once he listened and okayed the story way back in the day, he's been fully on board, supportive, and he's actually I think in retrospect I was thinking it's a big deal for maybe a mainstream actor to get hit by another actor, because we're living in a world where all these heroes are untouchable or whatever. So So it was a big deal, but he was fully on board. He fully wanted to get hit by Amitabh Bachchan, sir. It was awesome. He was like, sir, hold me tighter, like hit me hard.
I was reading I was reading an interview today morning, and over there, I think the producer said that Prabhas said that Amitji has to be treated like a star. If he is happy on the set, we all will be happy.
Right.
I think that also comes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Very secure move.
Yeah.
And given how the arc has evolved, will we get to see a lot more of intense element in Prabhas's character as the story moves forward?
Yeah, I don't know about intense element, but it's like the story. It's the story, and it has to unfold the way it does. And it feels like almost like it just began, because this is when the climax is when all these three people actually meet.
Yeah.
And so that's also probably when you really feel like, okay, now this is going to really get interesting. So,
Mahabharata is ever made to the spectacle. Who do you think is apt to direct a complex story like this?
I think Rajamouli sir wants to. I think he should. I think you need that passion and that love for it, because it's such a complicated story which is so massive. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I think Rajamouli sir making Mahabharata is a match made in heaven. That's something peak cinema again. Like
for sure.
And last couple of questions. There's Sri Krishna's character in the film, which you have showed in the Mahabharata portion. So many conjectures around who could be Sri Krishna. You have any casting in mind, or you plan to keep it vague because it's such a...
The idea was to always keep him a silhouette and formless and, without an identity, because otherwise it just becomes a person or an actor.
Yeah.
The idea was always to keep him dark-skinned and silhouetted and, just like a mysterious figure,
Right. But that's how you will continue as well. There is no plan to reveal a face or anything. Because again, conspiracy theories have thrown
I don't think so. I think that would go against the point.
Correct. And one thing which I think every cine lover would want to see is a face-off between Amitji and Kamal sir. You have set it up well for the sequel. How do you have any plans? I'm sure you must be having plans. Can you tell us something on that, because that's where the second part gets interesting.
There'll be so many things like this in the second part, but I guess we can't talk about much right now. But there will be stuff like that for sure.
Stuff like that for sure. And there will be new characters also introduced in the second part, or you will be now?
There'll be some new characters also introduced. New world also.
Wow. So fourth world now.
Fourth world. The fourth world is open.
Because you already have three. So
the fourth one is there.
There. Wow. I can't wait for it. I think hopefully we'll get to, the wait won't be too long for the second part. Before we sign off, if you have to describe your four leading pillars of Kalki, how would you? Prabhas, Amitji, Deepika and Kamal sir. I mean, the four superstars that you have.
You'd probably describe them. They are the four pillars. And Prabhas is like the most, he's like somebody that at the back of your mind that, you have like a support on, like if, like whatever we're doing and experimenting with is sort of because this man is this gigantic figure in the industry right now. So we can do this. Bachchan sir, just his energy and just an inspiration, or whatever he does is just an inspiration. If he's just sitting and he's asking for food, it's an inspiration. Like the way he orders his sandwich is an inspiration. Deepika is just like so effortless in whatever she does. Kamal sir is just like a textbook, I think, of cinema. Like just sitting with him, like you forget there's a shoot, because he'll have so many anecdotes and so much wisdom about film and cinema in general. Like it's just his love for cinema is just, it just reminds you that that's what you have to keep holding on to. It's just the love for cinema.